Hi guys, okay, this is my first November paper, it's November 2020, and here we go, paper 1. Same formula sheet. Question 1. The numbers 1 to 14 are shown in the Venn diagram. List the members of A intersection B. Okay, hopefully guys, this is not difficult. Intersection is what's in both, so it's these numbers here. So it's 2, 2, 4, 6, and 12. List the members of the set B complement. So this means everything that is not in B. I usually just say that is not. So not B. Everything that is not in B. So 8, 14, 10. And you don't have to write these in order, guys. 8, 10, 14. I am writing them in order. And then as well, I have to include these ones. So now I have 9, 13, 11, 7, and 5. And yeah, note, these are not in order, guys, but that's perfectly fine. A number is picked at random from the numbers in the Venn diagram. Find the probability that this number is in set A, but not in set B. Okay, how many numbers are there in total? 14. How many of the 14 numbers are in set A and not in set B? Well, look, it's only these three. It's these ones. It's this guy, and this guy. They're in A and they're not in B. So there's 3 numbers out of 14, so the probability is just 3 out of 14. It's 2 marks, but I don't need to show any more working than that. Okay, question 2. Toy cars are made in a factory. The toy cars are made for 15 hours each day. 5 toy cars are made every 12 seconds. Okay, this is complicated. For the toy cars made each day, the probability of a toy car being faulty is 0.002. Work out an estimate of the number of faulty toy cars that are made each day, right? So this, guys, is checking it's checking a few things, but one of them is how many seconds in an hour. Okay, so let's do that first. 15 hours. This is a tricky question for a number 2. Anyway, 15 hours is equal to how many seconds? Well, it's 15 hours. There's 60 minutes in every hour, so it's 15 times 60. It's this many minutes, but there's 60 seconds in every minute. So I times it by 60 again to get seconds. So it's this many seconds. Now I'll do that with my calculator. 15 times 60 times 60 is 54,000. Okay, so there's 54,000 seconds in the 15 hours. Okay, 5 toy cars are made every 12 seconds. Okay, so this is very confusing. Okay, there's 54,000 seconds, and he's saying 5 toy cars are made every 12 seconds. So if I do this divided by 12, I will get, divided by 12, 4,500. Okay, so that means there are 4,500 12-second intervals in this 15 hours, and 5 toys are made every 12 seconds. So I need to multiply this by 5 to see how many toy cars are made in a day. So this times 5 is equal to 22,500. Okay, 22,500. So there's 22,500 cars, toy cars, made every day. And it says the probability of one of them being faulty is 0.002. So I need to multiply this by 0.002 because it's like this proportion of them are faulty. So to find out what proportion that is of the total, I just multiply this by 0.002 and I get 45, which is a nice clean number. Okay, so that is an estimate of how many faulty cars we will have. Okay, that is a difficult question 2. Question 3. On the grid, draw the graph 7 minus 4x from minus 2 to 3. Now you could, guys, get out your calculator, make a table, put in our function 7 minus 4x. Don't mind the g of x. My start range is, he only wants to go from -2 to 3. So I put in -2 to 3. My step length is 1. And then I can put in these values. So -2, 15 goes here. This is -2, 15. -1, 11. So I can put in 11 here. But guys, because it's a straight line, all I really need is to find a 3. What is the value at 3? Well, at 3, it is -5. So I'm going to go 3, -5. Now the reason I say all I need is that is because I'm just going to, if I just join this point to this point, I get the straight line. It will go through all of these points, and you can put them all in if you want, but you don't have to. Now what's important is that you start at -2 and you stop at -3. If I drew that line on a bit more like that, I would lose a mark. So obviously don't. Okay, and that's 3 marks, guys. That's actually a nice, fairly easy question for 3 marks. Okay, here's a list of 6 numbers written in order of size. The numbers have a median of 9. Now guys, the median is here. It's right in between, so this is 9. It's between these 2 numbers. Because there's 6 numbers, the median has to be right in the middle of this and this. And he says the median is 9. So kind of obviously, I don't like using the word obviously too much, but I think it's pretty obvious here. X has to be 8. Because if 9 is halfway between x and 10, then x has to be 8, because we're going to have 8, 9, 10. So now I have x. And it says all these numbers have a mean of y. So now I need to find y. So the mean, remember how I find the mean. The mean is I add up all the numbers, 4 plus 7, plus x, which is 8, plus 10, not 9, guys, that's not a number in the data set, plus y, all of this divided by 6 equals 11. And then you can solve this equation. So I'm going to add these numbers. That's 11, 19, 29, 29 plus 2y, because y plus y is 2y. 11 times 6, I'm going to multiply by 6, and I get 66. Then I can just say 2y is 66 minus 29, which is, use your calculator, guys, it is 37. And then y is equal to 37 divided by 2. Again, use your calculator if you need to, but the answer is 18.5. So x is 8, y is 18.5. Definitely not an easy question, but I think manageable for everyone. Okay, question 5. Write this as an ordinary number. Okay, so what I like to do, guys, is write plenty zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 5, 7. So enough zeros, because when I go back, I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3. So that's where my decimal point is. So it's 0.0057. I have 2 zeros because my decimal point is there. Alternatively, guys, you can always go menu 1. I can go 5.7 times 10 to the power of -3 gives me this. Third to decimal. Okay, unfortunately, guys, it's giving it in standard form. If I do this, no, it's still giving me in standard form. Okay, so I have to write it out like this, but not difficult. Okay, write 800,000 in standard form. Now, unfortunately, my calculator, if I just do that, won't give it to me in standard form, which is a bit annoying, but there we go. So I need to write this in standard form. Now, it's kind of like this, except the other way. So I have 8. It is going to be 8 times 10 to the power of something. Because remember, this number has to be between 1 and 10. And 10 to the power of what? I decide by going to 8.0 and going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 10 to the power of 5. Obviously, there's 5 zeros here as well, but just be careful if it was 80 or 820,000. There's 4 zeros, but it's still 10 to the power of 5, so just always be careful and count it up. Okay, and this one, guys, I can just do on my calculator. 3 times 10 to the power of 5 minus 2.7 times 10 to the power of 4 over 6 times 10 to the power of negative 2, which is this 455,0,0,0. 455,0,0,0. He doesn't say write your answer in standard form, so that's perfectly fine. Okay, question 6. A rocket traveled 100 kilometers at an average speed of this. Work out how long it took the rocket to travel the 100 kilometers. Give your answer in seconds correct to the nearest second. Okay, so firstly, we know that, what are we trying to find out? We're trying to find out time. So if we remember, guys, our distance, speed, time triangle, remember this? Okay, poor drawing, but whatever. Distance is speed times time, and time is distance over speed. So to find the time, I need to do distance divided by speed. Now my distance is this, 100 kilometers, and my speed is 28440 kilometers per hour. Do this on the calculator. 100 divided by 28440, which is, okay, actually I'm going to leave this, guys, in as a fraction. 5 over 1422. So that's the time in hours. It's a very small number because this rocket is moving super quick. So he's traveled 100 kilometers at this speed. This is his speed, is 28,000 kilometers per hour. So he's moving very, very quickly. Hence the time is very small. But this time is in hours. So how do I convert? To convert hours to seconds, we multiply by 3,600. Why? Because there's 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. So 60 times 60 is 3,600. There's 3,600 seconds in an hour. I've mentioned that before, guys. It's nice to just remember that one. So I do 5 over 1422 multiplied by 3,600. This will give me the answer that I'm looking for, 12.658. Now he says, give your answer to the nearest decimal. I'm just going to, the nearest second, 12.658. 12.658. Nearest second is 13. Round it up. Okay, question 7. Solve this. Okay, first multiply with the bracket. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times negative x is minus 5x equals 7 minus 3x. Then get the x's on one side and the numbers on the other side. I'm going to bring the x's to the right, just so we have a positive on the right and the left, but it doesn't actually matter. So I have minus 3x. I'm going to plus this 5x because I want it's negative. So I'm going to add 5x to both sides. And then I'm going to subtract this 7 so it disappears from the right. Then I have 13 equals minus 3 plus 5 is 2x. And then x is equal to 13 divided by 2, which is 6.5. Okay, part B, factorize. Let's look at the numbers first. What is the highest common factor of 16 and 24? The answer is 8, because 8 goes into 16 and 8 goes into 24. Then, here I have m cubed and here I have m squared. What is common in both? Well, m squared, because there's an m squared here and there's an m squared here. I have a g cubed and a g to the 5, so g cubed is common because there's a g cubed here and a g cubed here. Open bracket. If I take out the 8, I need to multiply by 2 to get my 16. I need another m because I need to get m cubed, and I don't need any more g. And then 3 will give me the 8 times 3 is 24. M squared is already there, and I need another g squared to give me g to the 5. So let me know if this isn't clear, guys, but I factorized out 8, took out the m squared, took out the g cubed, and then what do I need to multiply to get these terms? It's this. So that's the answer. Okay, factorize this. So these are always tricky to factorize, guys. What we need to find is a number that multiplies together to give 48 and adds to give negative 2, or sorry, negative 48, I should say. Well, the answer is 6 and 8, and plus 6 and minus 8, because my minus 8y, my plus 6y will give me my minus 2y. So the factors are y plus 6 times y minus 8. And then it says, hence solve this. Well, then the answers are, and it's only 1 mark, the solution is y equals negative 6 and y equals 8. Now remember, you can do this on your calculator, guys, so there's zero excuse for getting the last part right. Go to polynomial, degree 2, 1, because it's 1y squared, negative 2, and negative 48 gives me 8 and negative 6. There's my 8 and negative 6. And sometimes, guys, if you're really struggling with the factorizing, you can kind of work your way backwards from the solution from the calculator. So if y equals negative 6 is a solution, y plus 6 is a factor. And if y equals 8 is a solution, y minus 8 is a factor. Okay, question 8. 10-sided polygon, work out the value of x. Okay, so this is obviously an outside, or an angle outside the polygon. I would care more about this one, or at least I know how to find this one. I'm going to call that y. So if we just find y and then subtract y from 360, we can get x. Easy. But how do I find y? That's not easy. Well, firstly, I know that all these sides have to add up to 8 times 180. Now, guys, if you don't know that, well, I suggest you learn it, or you, learn it right now. That's 1440. How did I do that? Well, it's always n minus 2 times 180. So if I told you this was a 20-sided polygon, you'd multiply 180 by 18. If it's a 4-sided polygon, you multiply 180 by 2. So it's always 2 less than however many sides there are. Okay, so all of these add up to 1440. Therefore, y is equal to I need to add up all these numbers and subtract them from 1440. Okay, so let's start here at 125. So 125 plus 134 plus 168 plus 150. Now note, guys, there's 4 of them and there's 4 of these, so I'm just going to do this times 2, and then I need to add the 148 plus 148 is this. Now guys, obviously I did something weird there. If you don't know what I did, just add up all the numbers, easy, on your calculator. 1302. So this is 1302. Then I have to do 1440 minus 1302. So 1440 minus 1302 is 138. That's 138. And then x, remember, don't forget, I have to do x is equal to 360 minus 138. 360 minus 138 is 222. So this is 222 degrees. 222 degrees. Okay, question 9. In a sale, normal prices are reduced by 20%. A bag costs 1080 rupees in a sale. Work out the normal price of the bag. Okay, so I'm going to do it this way, guys. The normal price is X. If it's reduced by 20%, we multiply X, whatever this is, by 0.8, because 100 minus 20 is 80. So I want to get 80% of it. So I reduce it by 20% by multiplying by 0.8. And this is now the new price, which is 1080. Then to find X, I just do 1080 divided by 0.8. 1080 divided by 0.8. 1080 divided by 0.8 is 1350. 1350. Okay, that's it. Question 10. A is equal to 2 times 3 to the power 43, and B is equal to 16 times 3 to the 37. Find the highest common factor of A and B. Okay, you could draw the Venn diagram, guys, but I think we can just do this without drawing the Venn diagram. There's a 2 in both A and B, so I'm going to put down a 2. And there's a 3, well, there's obviously a 3 in both, but there's actually 37 3's in this and 37 3's in this. So I can just do 2 times 3 to the 37. That 2 times 3 to the 37 goes into A, and 2 times 3 to the 37 goes into B. So that's the answer. I can leave it like that, guys. It's 2 times 3 to the 37. You don't want to put that into your calculator for this reason. 3 to the power of 37. Sorry, 3 to the power of 37. Well, it's a massive number. I mean, I guess you could put that down, but they certainly accept that. Okay, part B. Express the number A times B as a product of powers of its prime factors. Give your answer in its simplest form. Okay, a product, okay, A times B. So A times B is equal to 2 times 3 to the 43 times 16 times 3 to the 37. So I'm just this times this. How many marks? 2 marks. Okay, these are already in their prime factors, fine. But 16 is not in its prime factors. But 16, his prime factors are actually just 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. It's 2 to the power of 4. Now, if you didn't know that, although I'd argue you probably should, you could write 16 equals fact, and it gives it to you. So that's 2 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 37, and then you just simply combine them. So this is like 2 to the power of 1 times 2 to the power of 4. We add our indices, so that becomes 2 to the power of 5. And similarly, we add 43 and 37, which gives us 80. So that's 3 to the power of 80. 2 to the 5 times 3 to the 80. And that's it. It says as a product of powers of its prime factors, so that's definitely fine. Okay, question 11. Okay, we have a trapezium, ABCD, BC and AD are parallel. It says the trapezium has one line of symmetry, right? So that means the line of symmetry has to be here. It definitely can't be anywhere else. It can't be there or here. That's the line of symmetry. It gives us these values. The trapezium has area 179.4. Work out the size of angle ABC. So we're looking for this angle here. Okay, now what I'm going to do, guys, and the reason I'm going to do this is because I think I've seen this type of question many times before. I'm going to draw a line straight down here. And then I'm actually going to find this angle here and add it to 90, because this angle here is 90 degrees. Okay, to find that angle, I need a few things. I need let me just think about this. Okay, I need lengths. I need this length and I need this length, or this one. I don't think there's a way I can find this one without finding these two first. So let's just get this length and this length. Now this line of symmetry thing is obviously important because he has said, well, if that's a line of symmetry, that means this distance is exactly half of this distance. So this distance here has to be 4.2. So this distance is 4.2, which means this distance here, this distance has to be, okay, well, let me think. Firstly, I want to change color. And secondly, right, this distance from here to here, this has to be half of 17.6. Half of 17.6 is 8.8. Okay, so this distance here is 8.8. But this is 4.2, which means this distance has to be 4.6. Now think about it. 4.6 plus 4.2 gives me 8.8, which is half of 17.6, right? That's a bit confusing, fine. But now I have this length. Okay, great. To find this length, this red length, let's call it h, because it's like the height of the trapezium. I'm going to use the area of a trapezium that they've given me. Now the area of a trapezium is equal to a half A plus B H. This is in the formula booklet, or the formula sheet. So a half, A and B are the two parallel sides. So A is 8.4 and B is 17.6. And the H is what I don't know. So this has to equal 179.4. Let me bring all of this over here. Okay, now I can find H by, I could just divide by this straight away, or let's just break it up a bit. Okay, I'm going to do a half of 8.4 plus 17.6, which is 13. Okay, that's nice. So 13h equals this, which means h is this divided by 13. 179.4 divided by 13 is 69 over 5, which is 13.8. Okay, now I have h is 13.8. This equals 13.8. But look, I now have this right angle triangle with two sides. I can use trigonometry. So I have if this is my angle, let's call that angle, let's call it x. But note, that's not the angle that I'm looking for. The angle I'm looking for is ABC, which will be x plus 90. Anyway, in this triangle here, I have the opposite and I have the adjacent. Hence, I'm going to use tan. So tan of x equals opposite over adjacent. 4.6 over 13.8. And x is then the inverse tan of this. And I'm going to put that straight into my calculator. I'm going to do inverse tan, shift tan, inverse tan, 4.6 over 13.8 gives me 18.435. 18.435, approximately equal to that. He wants his answer to 1 decimal place. 1 decimal place is, well, hang on. Well, this to 1 decimal place is 18.4, but remember, the final angle I want is x plus 90. So angle ABC is equal to 18.4 plus 90, which is 108.4. 108.4 degrees. Okay, question 12. Okay, simultaneous equations. It says solve this, so we need to find x and we need to find y. Now your calculator can do this, guys, straight away in one go. Let's actually do it. But just to be clear, so I'm going to go to simultaneous equations. Number of unknowns is 2, and I'm going to write in 7, -2, 34, 3, 5, -3. Okay, my answer is 4 and -3. So I can get my answers here, but it says show clear algebraic working. If you just write down your answers, you won't get any marks. So make sure you show all your working. Okay, we need to make either the x is the same or the y is the same. I think we should make the y is the same. How will I make them the same? Well, if I multiply this by 5 and this by 2, that will make them the same, because this will become 10y and this will become 10y. The y's are the same, and then I can eliminate the y's. So let's do that. 7 times 5 is 35, so it's 35x, minus 10y equals 34 times 5. Use your calculator, guys, it's 170. This times 2, 6x, plus 10y, see they're the same, equals -6. So remember, multiply everything by 2. Then I need to decide, am I going to add or subtract? Well, I'm going to add, because when I add my -10y plus 10y, they will disappear, or it'll eliminate the y's. So I'm going to add these. 35 plus 6 is 41x. Equals 170 minus 6 is 164. which gives me very nicely x equals 4, which I know is correct because my calculator told me. So that's 164 divided by 41 gives me 4. Then when x is 4, I can sub into one of these, whichever one I want. I'll go sub into equation 2. So I have 3 times 4 plus 5y equals negative 3. 12 plus 5y equals negative 3. Hang on, I've done something wrong. No, I haven't. Sorry, 5y equals minus 3 minus 12, which is minus 15. And then y is equal to negative 3. Okay, so that's my solution. X is 4, y is negative 3. X is 4, y is negative 3. And I know I'm right because of this. X is 4, y is negative 3. Okay, question 13. Jan invests $8,000 in a savings account. The account pays compound interest of X% per year. At the end of 6 years, there's a total of $8,877.62. Work out the value of X. Okay, so there's a number of different ways to lay this out, guys. What I actually am going to do, I think if you check the mark scheme, you're going to see a number of different kind of methods. My preferred method is, although any of them are correct, if you get the right answer and you know what you're doing, it's fine, but this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to say 8,000, because remember with compound interest, we multiply by, let's just say it was 5%. We do 1.05 to the power of 6, and that increases this by 5% over 6 years. But I don't know what the percentage is. So I could do 1 plus x over 100 or something like that, but I prefer if I just did y to the power of 6 equals this. So I brought in a new variable, so 8,000 times something to the power of 6 equals 8877.62. Now, why did I do that? Well, if I find y, which I can do now, I'm going to say y to the power of 6 is equal to this divided by 8,000. So it's 8877.62 over 8,000. Let's do that. 8877.62 divided by 8,000. 1.1097. 1.1097. Now I've stopped here because he does say 2 decimal places, but maybe guys, I'll just add another one. 97025. I'll write all the digits. Now just be careful. This does not mean that it's well, hang on. This is y to the power of 6 to begin with. This is y to the power of 6. To get y, I have to do the 6th root of this. So that would be the 6th root of 1.1097.025. Okay. How do I get the 6th root? Well, I'm going to use this button here. So if I press Shift and X, I can put in 6 there. So it's the 6th root of 1.1097.025, which is 1.0175. 1.0175. Okay. Now, that's not x, that's y. That is what we multiplied by to get this. We multiply by y to the power of 6. Now remember, when we're increasing 8,000 times, if it was 1%, I multiply by 1.05. If it was 1%, I multiply by 1.05. 1.01. If it was 1.75%, I multiply by 1.0175. Therefore, x is equal to 1.75 because x is the percentage. So y is 1.0175, so x has to be 1.75. It's the percentage that we it's the interest rate percentage that the account is paying. Okay, hope that makes sense, guys. If you actually do that, like if you do 8,000 times 1.0175, you will get a number pretty close to that. Maybe not exactly because we've rounded, but you should get a number very near it. Okay, that is question 13. Question 14. F is inversely proportional to the square of v. Okay, guys, these questions are not easy, but they're always the same. It's very rare they mix or they change these questions around. F is inversely proportional to the square of v. So F is equal to k over v squared. Why? Because inversely means we're going to put v squared at the bottom, and the square of v means that's why I make it v squared. So it's F is equal to k over v squared. Or if you want to say F is proportional to 1 over k over v squared, and then F equals k over v squared, some constant. You can skip this step if you want, although no harm putting it in. So F is equal to k over v squared. It tells us F is 6.5 when v is 4. So it's k over 4 squared. I can now find k by saying 6.5 times 4 squared, which is 16. 6.5 times 6.5 times 16 is 104. So k is equal to 104. Okay, that's it, done, guys. But I have to write down the final answer. The formula for F in terms of v is F equals k over v squared, but now I know k, it's 104. 104 over v squared. Okay. Question 15. Harry has 2 5-sided spinners. He's going to spin each spinner once. Complete the probability tree diagram. Right, guys, I like when I see these questions, I am happy because at least the filling in the tree bit is easy, what it's supposed to be. What's the probability that this guy lands on red? Well, it's 2 out of 5 because there's 2 red and 5 in total. And how many green? 3 out of 5. Easy. What's the probability spinner B lands on red? Well, it's 4 out of 5. What's the probability it lands on green? 1 out of 5. And similarly here, it's 4 out of 5 and 1 over 5. The spinners are independent, so it doesn't matter. If this guy lands on red, it doesn't change the probability for this one. Okay. Now, what I like to do, guys, at this point is multiply out the probabilities. This times this is 8 over 25, because 2 times 4 is 8, 5 times 5 is 25. This times this is 2 over 25. This times this is 12 over 25. And this times this is 3 over 25. Now you don't have to do that, but I find they're useful because in question B, I'm guessing we're gonna use them. As part B, it says, work out the probability that at least one of the spinners will land on green. Now when he says at least one, which of these counts? Well, this guy is a red and a red. Is one of them green? No. So that's no good. This guy is a red and a green. Is one of them green? Yes. So we're going to include him. This guy's a green and a red. Yes, because you've got a green. And this guy's a green and a green. Yes, because it's at least one green. So 2 greens also counts. So for part B, it's just going to be this plus this plus this. So I'm going to write 2 over 25 plus 12 over 25 plus 3 over 25, which equals 14 plus 3 is 17 over 25. Okay. You could also do it, guys. A quick way to do it is you go, the only thing it can't be is red. Therefore, 1 minus 8 over 25 gives me 17 over 25. Same answer. Okay, question 16. Circle, some lines. These are on a circle. This is 58. Find the answer to, or find the size of the angle MLP. This is MLP. Okay, guys, these points are on a circle, which means this is a cyclic quadrilateral, which means this plus this equal 180. So this guy here has to equal 122 degrees, because 122 plus 58 equals 180. Give a reason for your answer. Okay, exactly what I said. Opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180 degrees. Okay. Find the size of the reflex angle MOP. Okay, they're being a little bit sneaky here, guys. MOP, but the reflex angle is that one, not this one. That's obtuse angle. That is a reflex angle. Okay, so, well, having said that, I'm actually going to find this angle here. Now, this angle here is 116 degrees. How did I know that? Because the angle at the center is double the angle at the circumference in the same segment. So if I start at M and P, MOP is double MNP, and 2 times 58 is 116. So that's 116. To find the red angle, I need to do 360, which is the full circle. This whole thing is 360. So if I do 360 minus 116, I will get the reflex angle, and that is 244. So this is 244 degrees. Okay, question 17. A metal block has a mass of 5 kilograms, correct to the nearest 50 grams. The block has a volume of this, correct to 3 significant figures. Work out the upper bound for density of the block. Okay, let's be careful. Density equals mass over volume. That you need to know. Okay, then he says, work out the upper bound for density. Right, so you may have seen me do this before, guys, but I want density to be big. I want mass, so upper bound means make density big. To make density big, I need to make the mass big, because it's mass over volume. So the bigger this, the numerator, the bigger the density. But I need to make volume small, because the smaller this is, the bigger density is going to be, because I'm going to divide by a small number. So the smaller the volume, the bigger the density, which makes sense in real life, because a really small, if you had a small object that was heavy, like a small piece of gold, it is quite dense, because it's a large mass with a small a small volume. So I need to make, to get density big, I need a big mass and a small volume. So now I draw my number lines. This is for mass, my mass, and this is for volume. Mass is 5 kilograms, right? 5 kilograms, or 5,000 grams, to the nearest 50 grams. So my next number up here, I need to add 50 grams, which would be 5,050. And my next number down here, my lower bound, even though I don't need it, would be 4,950. Similarly, volume is 1.48 times 10 to the minus 3 to 3 significant figures. Okay, so that's a little bit confusing. 1.84, so that's actually 0.00184. That's what that number is, to 3 significant figures. The next number up would be 0.00185. You can keep it in standard form if you want, but I'm just going to take it out of standard form, just so it makes a little bit more sense. This number would be 0.00183. So the next number up, the next number down. Okay, now I want to make mass big. So the upper bound is halfway between these two. What's halfway between 5,000 and 5,050? Well, it's 5,025. You can add them and divide by 2 if you're not sure how I did that, guys, but it's just the middle of, well, between 0 and 50, the middle is 25. I want to make the volume small, so I need to get the lower bound of the volume, which is here, halfway between these two. Now, again, add them and divide by 2 if you want, or if you know how to do it, it's 0.001835. Because I have to add on another decimal place. Right, so that is the upper bound for mass, and that's the lower bound for volume. So the upper bound for density, equals 5025 over 0.001835, and this gives us 5025 divided by 0.001835, which is 2738419. Hang on. 2738419.6. 419.6. He says, okay, be careful, guys. This is grams. Okay, so I should have been clear. This is grams, and this is meters cubed. Okay, that's fine. So this is grams per meter cubed, but he wants it in kilograms per meter cubed. Now, how many grams in a kilogram? Well, there's 1,000. So if this is 2738419 grams per meter cubed, it's 2738.4 kilograms per meter cubed. How did I do it? Well, I divided by 1,000, which is like going 1, 2, 3, because I'm changing grams into kilograms, so I'm dividing by 1,000. And that's my answer, 2738.4. Okay, question 18. Here we have a frequency table. It says on the grid, draw a histogram for this information. Okay, I like to, guys, draw another column and call it frequency density, or FD, because this is then the frequency density, and I actually should label this frequency density. Okay, to get the frequency density is equal to the freak over class width. That is a formula you need to know. What is the frequency? This guy is 35, so I do 35 over this class width is 10, because 10 to 20, it's the distance between 10 and 20. So this frequency density is 3.5. So this guy is 3.5. Then I do 45 divided by 15, because this is 45, this class width is 15. This divided by 15 is 3. Then I do 75, also divided by 15. 35 to 50, that's 15, gives me 5. 40 divided by 20 gives me 2. And finally, 8 divided by 10, 8 over 10 gives me 0.8. Okay, so that's 3.5, that's 3, that's 5, that's 2, that's 0.8. Okay, that is correct. Then I need to plot this down here. Right, let's zoom out a bit. Okay, between 10 and 20, I need to go up to 3.5. I think, guys, I'll just do that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. So that would be 3.5 here. So I'm going to go to 3.5, and I'm going to go down. And that's the first bar. The next one is 20 to 35, which is here. 20 to 35, and I'm going to 3. That is my frequency density for this class width. Then 35 to 50 is here. 35 to 50, and he's going to go up to 5, so that's 3, 4, 5. Hang on. I need to do that again, because I'm a perfectionist. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is 3.5, this is 3, this is 5, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 50 to 70, just up to 2. So this is one of those questions, guys, where you have to bring a ruler, or why you should bring a ruler. And then 70 to 80 is 0.8, which is exactly here. Now, yes, guys, it does have to be accurate. Okay, so that's pretty good. That is the histogram. Let me just check. 3.5, 3, 5, 2, and 0.8. And my widths are correct, though the class widths are the widths of the bar. Okay, question 18. That was part A, sorry. Part B. Write out an estimate for the number of these plants with a height greater than 40. Okay, so if you remember, guys, the frequency equals area. So greater than 40, is going to be this area here, the area of this bar plus this one plus this one. So I'm going to do, this bar is just going to be 10 times 5. So 10 times 5 is 50. This bar is 20 times 2. 20 times 2. It's just base times height, guys, which is 40. And this guy is 10 times 0.8, which is 8. Now actually, guys, they gave us 40 and 8 here. So the only bit I really needed to figure out was this 10 times 5. It's an estimate because I don't actually know how long these people took. I just know they took between 35 and 50. So I just add up these numbers and I get 98. So the frequency equals 50 plus 40, 50 plus 40 plus 8 equals 98. This here, guys, is 98. Okay, question 19. Without using a calculator, rationalize the denominator of this. Simplify your answer, show you're working. Okay, another question, guys, that I think is not easy, but familiar, very familiar question. If you've practiced enough of these, it shouldn't cause too much of a problem. The first key step is you multiply above and below by the conjugate of the denominator. Now the conjugate is just this with a different sign. So if 3 minus root 7, the conjugate is 3 plus root 7. Now I'm going to put a bracket around here. Okay, now you multiply the numerator. You do 6 times 3 is 18, and you do 6 times root 7 is 6 root 7, and you leave that like that. Then the denominator, you have to do this the long way. You do 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times root 7 is plus 3 root 7. Root 7 times 3, or sorry, negative root 7 times 3 is minus 3 root 7. And then minus root 7 times root 7 is going to be minus 7. Now note what always happens, which is the whole purpose of multiplying by the conjugate. These two disappear. They go to 0. 3 root 7 minus 3 root 7 is 0. So I'm left with 18 plus 6 root 7 over 9 minus 7. What's 9 minus 7? Only 2. And then divide above and below by 2, but divide everything by 2. So 18 over 2 is 9, and 6 over 2 is 3. So I divide this by 2, and I divide this by 2. Remember, this is one term. So I'm left with 9 plus 3 root 7. Okay, question 20. Or and S are two similar solid shapes. Shape R has surface area this and volume this. Shape S has surface area 300. Work out the volume of shape S. Okay. Right. We have, guys, for these similar shape questions, I like to write down the scale factor, the area factor, and the volume factor. The key is to find the scale factor. The only one we know is the area factor, because the only out of the volume, area, and length, the only one that I know both of is the area. I know it's 300 for S and 108 for R. So the area factor is equal to 300 over 108. Let's simplify that. 300 over 108 is 25 over 9. Okay, 25 over 9, I prefer it as a fraction. 25 over 9. Now, That means the area factor is 25 over 9. To get the scale factor, I need to square root this because the area factor is the square of the scale factor. So the area factor is the square root of 25 over 9. I could write that out as a decimal, or I could actually leave it as the square root of 25 over 9. The square root of 25 over 9. If you want to write that as a decimal, by all means. And then to find the volume factor, we have to cube this. So you can't go from area factor to volume factor, guys. Well, unless you want to do something really, really smart, but I don't even do that. You go from area factor to scale factor by getting the square root, and then to volume factor by cubing the scale factor. So the volume factor is, and actually let's actually find out what that is. That root 25 over 9. So the square root of 25 over 9 is, oh sorry guys, that is a nice number. What was I doing? The square root of 25 over 9 is 5 over 3. Because the square root of 25 is 5, the square root of 9 is 3. So this is 5 over 3. So to get the volume factor, I cube the scale factor. So to get the area factor, you square the scale factor. To get the volume factor, you cube the scale factor. This cubed is 125 over 27. Use your calculator if you need to. So the volume factor is 125 over 27. He tells us the volume of ore. It's 135. So the volume of S, has to be 135 times the volume factor, which is 125 over 27. Okay, this is 135 times 125 over 27, which is exactly 625. That's a nice round number. So this is 625 centimeters cubed. Okay, question 21. Okay, we need to express this as a single fraction in its simplest form, right? Obviously not an easy question. So I'm going to break it up, guys, into a few different pieces. First, we'll look at this 9x squared minus 4. So 9x squared minus 4. I can see, guys, I did a question like this recently. I can see this is a difference of two squares. I can see it because this is a square and this is a square. This is actually 3x squared. 3x squared gives me 9x squared because I squared the 3. And this is 2 squared. Now a difference of two squares when you factorize gives you 3x plus 2 times 3x minus 2. This is a rule for factorizing. You need to know it, right? So this I can write as this. If you expand these two brackets, you will see you get this. Okay, the next one I'm going to look at is this guy, this numerator, this 3x squared minus 13x minus 10 equals, I need to factorize it. The factors of this are of 3x squared are 3x and x. The factors of 10 are 10 and 1 or 5 and 2. I'm going to go with 10 and 1. No, I'm actually going to go with 5 and 2. Because I'll do 3x times 5 or times negative 5 gives me minus 15, and plus 2 gives me minus 13. So the factors of this are 3x plus 2 times x minus 5. If you don't know how to factorize a quadratic, guys, you can go and learn how to do it. Remember, you can also use your calculator to help you to kind of reverse engineer the factors after getting the solutions. But these are the factors. Okay, now I'm going to write this thing here as 1 over 3x minus 2, that's just this, times, instead of 9x squared, I'm going to put this. I'm going to put 3x plus 2 times 3x minus 2. And instead of the denominator, I'm going to put this. 3x plus 2 times x minus 5. Now look, this quite nicely cancels or simplifies. I can do 3x plus 2 over 3x plus 2, they cancel, and 3x minus 2 over 3x minus 2, they cancel. I divide above and below by both of those. So this is left with, this becomes just 1 over x minus 5. So that's this part. That's 1 over x minus 5. Now I can say 1 over x minus 5 minus 7 over x minus 1. Now I have I need to add two fractions, or two algebraic fractions. So I get a common denominator, which is x minus 5 times x minus 1. That's the common denominator because they both go into this. And then I multiply this by 1. So it's 1 times x minus 1. And I multiply the 7 times this. 7 times x minus 5. Simplify the numerator. X minus 1 minus 7x plus 35. Be super careful here. Minus 7x plus 35 all over x minus 5 times x minus 1. Then simplify this. X minus 7x is minus 6x. Minus 6x plus 34 over x minus 5 times x minus 1. You would actually get full marks for this, guys. That is simplified. But I can actually factorize, take 2 out of the numerator. I'll take out 2 and I get minus 3x plus 17 over x minus 5 times x minus 1. And then if you really want to make it look a little bit better, you just change this into, instead of minus 3x plus 17, we do 17 minus 3x all over x minus 5 times x minus 1. Okay, that is question 21. Question 22. ABCD is a rhombus. The diagonals AC and BD intersect at point M, right? Guys, I think the best thing to do in this situation is to draw the rhombus. Let's do that. A, B, C, A, B, C, D. Now remember, guys, a rhombus means the sides are the same length. It's a four-sided shape, sides are the same length. You can think of it, if you really want to, as a diamond. Okay, so this is my A, A, B, C, D. The diagonals AC and BD intersect at point M. Okay, so AC, this and this intersect at M. Note that's a right angle. So this is M. In a rhombus, they always intersect at right angles. Okay, the coordinates of M are 6, minus 11. The points A and C both lie on the line with equation 2y plus 7x equals 20. Find the exact coordinates of the point where the line through BD intersects the y-axis. Okay, I wasn't expecting that final question. Okay, what we need to do, guys, is find the equation of BD. If I can find equation of line, the equation of the line passing through B and D. So this line, I'm going to find the equation of that line, then I can find where that intersects the y-axis. So how do I find the equation of the line? I need the gradient and I need a point. I have a point, M. M is 6 minus 11. So I have the point. I just need to find the gradient. So I need a point and I need the gradient to find the equation. The point is 6 minus 11. So I have the point. The gradient, I don't know what it is, but I know, the gradient, I don't know what it is, but I know that this line AC is perpendicular to the line BD. I know that because it's a rhombus. That's one of the properties of a rhombus, is that these two lines meet at right angles. So I'm going to get this equation, this 2y plus 7x equals 20, and find the find the gradient of this line. I'll find it by writing it in the form y equals mx plus c. So I'm going to write 2y equals minus 7x plus 20. Y is equal to minus 7 over 2x plus 10. I've divided both of these by 2. Hence, the gradient m is equal to negative 7 over 2. That's my y equals m x plus c. There's my m. But that's the gradient of this line. The perpendicular gradient is the negative reciprocal. So I flip this upside down and I get 2 over 7. So this gradient here is 2 over 7. Okay. Now I'm going to get the equation of this line, the equation of the line BD. I'm going to get it using this formula. Y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. If you want to use y equals mx plus c and sub in the points and find c, that's fine. I prefer this equation. So I'm going to sub in y1. This is my x1, y1, and this is my m. So just be super careful, guys. I'm using this m, not this m. So it's y minus 11, careful, equals m 2 over 7 into x minus 6. Okay. But, so that's the equation of the line, and I can write y plus 11 equals 2 over 7 x minus 12 over 7. So I'm multiplying out this. So that's the equation of the line. But when does it cross the y-axis? Because my question says, where does this line cross or intersect the y-axis? So it intersects, any line, guys, intersects the y-axis when x equals 0. So I make x equals 0 here, and I have y plus 11 equals 0 minus 12 over 7. Y is equal to minus 12 over 7 minus 11. I'm going to subtract 11. I'll do this on my calculator, please. This is negative 12 over 7 minus 11 is minus 89 over 7. So y is equal to minus 89 over 7. Where it is across the y-axis, obviously x is 0 and y is now minus 89 over 7. Okay, obviously guys, that's a hard question for lots of reasons. But I'd like everyone to know how to get the equation of a line. I'd like everyone to know that a line crosses the y-axis when x is 0. Yes, I do want you to know that in a rhombus the two diagonals meet at a right angle. However, I definitely understand that putting all that together into one question makes for a very, very challenging question. Okay. Question 23. Curve C has equation with this. P and M are positive integers. Find the range of values of x in terms of P and M for which the gradient of C is negative. Okay. This is a calculus question. So guys, for a cubic, we do want to know that a cubic equation, especially a positive cubic, looks something like this. It goes up and then down and then up. Now, we need to find the range of values for which the gradient is negative. Where is the gradient of this curve negative? Well, the answer lies here. It's where the graph is going down. So its gradient is negative from the maximum to the minimum. So we need to, and not including the max or the minimum, but greater than the maximum and less than the minimum. So we need to find the maximum and we need to find the minimum, and then we can go from there. We can say it's between the two. So that's the kind of big picture, what we're trying to do. How do I find a maximum? Well, to find a maximum, I differentiate and equate it to 0. So the derivative of y is dy dx. I multiply by the power 3p and I subtract 1 from the power, so it's 3px squared. Mx, the derivative of mx, is just m, because I multiply by 1, subtract 1 from the power 0, and I'm left with 1, hence I'm left with minus m. Okay, that is the derivative. Where is this derivative equal to 0? Let dy dx equal 0. So I have my 3px squared minus m equals 0. And I'm going to solve this for x. So I'm going to say 3px squared equals m, because I add m to the right. I'm then going to divide by 3p, because I want x on its own. But I need to get the square root, because this is x squared. If this is x squared, then x is the square root of m over 3p. Okay, x is the square root of m over 3p. That is where the gradient is 0. But we know the gradient is 0 in two places. It's 0 here, and it's 0 here. So I need two answers. What are my two answers? Well, my two answers are the plus and the minus, because remember, the square root can be positive or negative. So this one here, the x value of this maximum, is actually negative root m over, and guys, if I drew the axis like this, I don't know what these numbers are, but let's just draw an axis here. The x coordinate here is negative root m over 3p. And actually, guys, now that I say that, this is going to be a negative value. So this would actually be more like this. Okay, so this the x coordinate of this maximum is minus m over 3p, and this coordinate is plus, because you don't have to know the graph perfectly, so just so long as you know that there's a max and a min and it's between the two. So this guy is m over 3p, the positive version, because remember p and m are positive integers, so this is going to be a positive number and this is going to be a negative number. That's how I know that the max for in a positive cubic that looks like this, the maximum will be to the left of the minimum. If p was a negative number, it would be the opposite, but it's not. Okay, so what's the range of values of x for which the gradient is negative? Well, the range of values is from here to here, because that's where the pink is. Look, it goes from here down to here. So the range of values is x has to be bigger than this, than negative root m over 3p, and less than this, m over 3p. Okay, so that's it. It can't be equal because the gradient isn't negative when they're equal. The gradient is actually 0. Okay, that's question 23. 24. Here are the first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence. Work out the sum of all the terms from the 50th term to the 100th term inclusive. Okay, so we're going to use the sum formula. The sum of n terms, this is in the formula guide, or the formula sheet. It's n over 2, 2a plus m minus 1 d. That formula you were given. This is a bit tricky because it's not asking for the sum of the first 100 terms, or it's not asking for the sum of the first 50 terms. It's asking for the sum of the terms between the 50th and the 100th. Now, what that means is he's asking for the sum of all the terms except the first 49 terms. So, sorry, not infinity, 100 I meant to write. So it's the sum of the first 100 terms without, so I'm going to subtract the sum of the first 49 terms. Now that's a bit confusing to get your head around, guys. You might want to pause the video and try to understand what I've actually done there. But this will give me the sum of the terms from the 50th to the 100th. Because he says inclusive, that's why I did 49 and not 50, because we need to keep 50. It would be a bit like if I said the sum of the 4th and 5th terms. What I could do is I could say, well, the sum of the first 5 terms minus the sum of the first 3 terms, because I would essentially subtract this, this, and this, and it would just leave me with this and this. So that's a similar example with just a lot smaller, a smaller number of terms. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Once you get your head around why I'm doing this, the rest is not simple, but it's just subbing numbers into the formula. So here, n is 100, a is 8, this is 2 times 8, n is 100, and d is 7, because I'm adding 7 each time. 15 minus 8 is 7. So this times 7. I can sub this all into the calculator. It gives me, well, 100 over 2 is 50, times 2 times 8 is 16, plus 100 minus 1 is 99, times 7, 35450. 35450. Then the sum of the first 49 terms, same thing, except this time n is 49. This is 49 over 2, 2 times 8 again, plus 49 minus 1 times 7. That's subbing numbers straight into this. Calculator, I have 49 over 2, 49 over 2 times 16 plus 49 minus 1 is 48 times 7, 8624. 8624. So now I go back to this. My S100 minus S49 is equal to 35450 minus 8624. Let's do that right now. 35450 minus 8624, 26826. 26826, which is correct. 26826. Okay, are we nearly there at the last question? Yes, we are. Last question. The curve with equation y equals g of x is transformed to the curve with equation this by the single transformation t. Describe the transformation. This is just for 1 mark, guys. Hopefully we do know this. This is an example of a last question that's actually not that difficult, because we know if we the transformation where I just make it minus g of x is actually a reflection in the x-axis. It just makes all the y coordinates flip over to the other side, because they become negative and the negatives become positive. So it's a reflection it's in the x-axis, but the x-axis, we know the equation is y equals 0. If you're confused with that, guys, just write the x-axis. I think you do definitely get a mark if you write reflection in the x-axis, but technically it's in the line y equals 0. Okay, the diagram shows the graph of y equals f of x. On the grid, draw the graph of y equals 2 times f of x minus 1. Okay, so I'd actually like 2 grids here, guys, but you can always erase. This is why you want a pen or a pencil and an eraser, because what I'm going to do is there's 2 transformations. The minus 1 will move it right 1, move it 1 to the right, and the 2 outside in the front will stretch it vertically by 2. We can do it in whichever order we want. Let's just do the 1 first. So this, we just pick the coordinates that we know. So this guy is 1, 3. He'll just move over to 2, 3. So I'm just moving everything right. This guy is at 2. He's moving to 3. This guy is at 4. He's moving to 5. This guy's at 6. He's moving to 7. This guy's at 7. He's moving to 8. And I'm actually going to draw this. And I will erase it after, because this is not, that's not bad. This is not the final answer. That's half the answer. Now I need to stretch it by scale factor 2, vertically stretch it. So what I do is I get all the coordinates, the y coordinates. This guy's y coordinate is 3. I double it to 6. This guy's y coordinate is 0. 2 times 0 is also 0. This guy is at -3. What's double -3? Well, it's down to -6. Then this guy is at, well, we can do this guy here. -2 goes to -4. My -2 here goes to -4 as well. The 0 times 2 is 0. And finally, the 3 times 2 is here. So joining these pink dots, again, guys, you try and do it better than me. I struggle with this pen, but I make sure we at least go through these dots. Okay, not too bad. Then erase this one, or at least tell the examiner that it's the pink one that you're doing. And that is the graph transformed. So actually, guys, if you know your transformations, I think question 25, the last question on the paper, isn't actually that hard, and 24 arguably isn't that hard. This one, fair enough, maybe it is. Okay, that's the paper, guys. Hopefully it wasn't too bad, and I'll see you for the next one.